Okay, so this is gonna be my thoughts on the EA and BioWare's somewhat new title now. This review is kind of late. Anthem, and personally, I'm honestly not surprised that this game didn't do well. Like, I don't know, man. It feels like just EA can't seem to make good games anymore for some reason. Oh my god, bruh. It's so sad. And the sad part about this is that EA like has all these great studios to back them, and they just can't seem to. I don't know if it's like a talent thing or what, but every game they release now is just it's a huge disappointment. And it's so crazy, man. Like they have like these huge titles that it should be so easy. Like Battlefront, you have like the whole blueprint of the 2005 game. Like literally everyone wanted just a updated graphics version of the 2005 game, and that would have been a perfect game. That would have sold millions of copies, bro. It would have been like up there with GTA 5. It would have been that good. Um, Battlefield 5, another big disappointing game, and that one was pretty like controversial, but it's still like even if it was just a normal game, take away like all the controversial parts, it shipped with no content, man. It was so sad seeing like, oh, this is coming soon. 1/4 of the campaign coming soon. It's like what? Like this stuff needs to be in there day one. Like the fact that they had to patch Anthem, they had to have that huge day one patch means they weren't ready, and it's not fair to for like consumers to have to buy this product when it's like half baked. You know what I mean? Like EA needs to be at fault here for like, and thankfully, there's been some pushback with the whole Battlefront 2 fiasco with the loot boxes, but here we're clearly seeing that that hasn't had much of an effect on any of the other titles, because Battlefield 5 and Anthem now both seem to be struggling with the same issues, a lack of content, and I guess this one more specifically a lack of content and downgrades as well. We were like promised a bunch of stuff that wasn't even in the main title at release, and it's going to be shipped and packaged in their little um, I don't remember what they called it, but they're just going to give it to you like over time. And it's such a bad idea, man. Like it's one thing if you jam pack the game and then sell us content over time afterwards, then you earn it. Then you can earn stuff. But you gotta make the product satisfying in the beginning, or else like no one's gonna want to buy it, and every game's gonna flop. And I don't know. I feel like EA just doesn't understand um, how that works. To be honest with you, but let's just talk about the pros of Anthem real quick. So number one, um, I want to say that Anthem graphically actually is pretty impressive, at least in the demo. As you can see, like this stuff is like the explosions and particle effects are pretty solid. Even in the main release, there were some downgrades. I saw a couple YouTube videos showing some downgrades that were pretty bad, especially with the skyboxes with the main. If you look at the demo skybox right when you jump off the platform, it's way different. Like there's like these curved edge rocks in the distance, and that stuff is just completely gone in the main game. But graphically overall, I think it's pretty good, like especially in like the raid missions and stuff. Like stuff is looks really good. um Also, I think the abilities are pretty cool. The rocket one with the when it targets all the rockets, really probably one of my favorite ones. um Also, the flying is very very fun. So if there's one thing that Anthem did do right, is the flying. So yeah, they're just like the way, the verticality of the landscape and how you can just basically go anywhere you want is super super cool. So I definitely give them props there. um as for basically anything else, it's pretty much trash. I'm not like, yeah, it's basically trash. So, all right, let's just say the cons now. This is the cons. The story. It's awful, man. It's like the way it's told. Yikes. It's like you see all these like cool and epic moments, and you hear about all these like cool people and like what they did before you were a freelancer or whatever, and you're like, oh, that's dope. And then they're like, oh, you can see where they died, and then it's just like a small dude buried, like some old war general buried, and you get to look at him while he's buried, and that's it. And then the mission ends or something. They just tell you, oh, he did this in battle. He was this and this, and he fought 1,000 warriors to one, and then that's it. You don't ever get to participate in any of these cool, interesting battles. It's like horde missions. That's all you get to play, and then like one raid, one or two raids. That's about it. For character development, the characters were pretty mediocre, I'd say. Like especially the shopkeeper dude who sells you the armor. He's like, oh, you have to look cool to fight people. Like, what is that, dude? Like, that's like buy microtransactions to look cool. So you look cool while you beat people up. That's how you become a legendary hero. So it's like, what? What the hell? What else? Um, oh yeah, I guess the downgrades from, if you can see in the demo, is like everything's a lot cleaner. There's more shadows, more developed textures, and it's a lot more people too. I want to say Fort Tarsus had like way more people in the demo, and then you just see the real like retail version, and it's just completely different, dude. There's like, I don't know, like the everything feels so much more static, I guess. Everything feels like unmoving and static, and that's the only way I can really say it to be. Uh, and then, of course, everyone has been complaining about this big one, is the loot. The loot in your looter shooter is awful. Every gun looks the same. Every gun, both like cosmetically and like feels the same too. All those like cool things you see in the demo, where oh, you can find a cool weapon and some unique weapon that you won't ever find anywhere else, that isn't even in the game. Like that kind of stuff doesn't exist. So it's just like they tell you it's a better weapon, but you don't ever feel like you're getting better weapons. Especially since they have like no different models besides like four. It's pretty insulting that they think they could give us this and then I don't know, cuz like they said this was a 6-year development game. This definitely does not feel like a 6-year developed game. This feels like maybe a year or two at most, and then they just decided to cut stuff and then just like sell it to us over time and like some weird, oh, look at our content, it's like gonna be over a year, so you get like a bunch of stuff so it like stays alive, I guess. But like I said, that business model only works if you have like a satisfying beginning, middle, and end to your game, and Anthem fails at all three of those aspects. So, what do I think can save Anthem? Would probably say nothing at this point. Anthem is so done, man. Uh, I think EA just needs to take a hard look at what they're doing and rethink their business model because this is not working at all. And I have no clue how they can sustain themselves like this. Like, if the next title that they release, that's like a big major title, like Battlefield or like another Battlefront or whatever they release, if that has the same issues, people are not going to buy their games. I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm not buying Anthem. I didn't buy Battlefront 2 or Battlefield 5 just because like of all the bad things I've heard about all those games, and they were all true. And I'm so tired of getting screwed over by this one company who thinks it's like okay to do this kind of stuff. And this isn't their first time messing up. Like, Bethesda got a lot of hate for only messing up one time. Granted, that Fallout 76 was awful. I'm not defending that game. That was an awful game on its own separate playing field though. But we've given EA way too many chances, and I think it's time that they pay the price. So the only way we can really change anything is if we like affect them um, where it counts with the money, right? So I think people should be skeptical of this next AAA game from EA, whatever it is. Not like their sports games; those are like cash cows, whatever, man. But their next major AAA release, I think we should all just not pre-order or give in to the hype, man. Just hold on to your money. Wait for a reviewer that you trust, like someone like Angry Joe. The Angry Joe Show, definitely one of my favorites. Or wait for the Moist Meter from Penguins or Critical rather. And yeah, man, Anthem, pretty disappointing to say the least. And all right, so that's enough roasting Anthem. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.